Good evening and thank you all for keeping it KTN. Time for us now to take a look at business. I'm Joy Doreen Bira. Imperial Bank has become the second bank in 2 months to be placed under receivership by the Central Bank of Kenya. According to the Banking Regulator, Imperial Bank had irregularities and malpractices that exposed its customers to risk. With that move, Imperial Bank will cease normal operations and has already had its 2 billion shilling bond suspended from listing and trading on the bourse. KTN'S Adelaide Chnagole has more.
Until August 2015, Kenya had enjoyed 10 years of unblemished bank stability, with none of the country's 43 banks and one mortgage finance institution showing evidence of the mismanagement that had been the bane of the country's financial sector in the 90s. But on the 14th of August, all that changed when the central bank placed Dubai Bank under receivership owing to liquidity and capital deficiencies. 10 days later, CBK announced that Dubai Bank would be liquidated given the magnitude of the weaknesses. At the time, the central bank was commended for acting in time to save debtors and the financial sector at large from the risk of financial contagion. Fast forward 2 months and it was Imperial Bank's turn to be placed under receivership for what was initially termed as unsafe or unsound business conditions. According to CBK, directors at Imperial Bank had laid bare inappropriate banking practices that warranted immediate remedial action to safeguard the interests of both depositors and creditors.
This is the last thing that we expected, coming from a mid-tier bank, and now the receivership, quite unexpected.
The bank appointed the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation as the receiver manager to assume management control and advise CBK on an appropriate resolution strategy. The bank's normal operations were also suspended, with the exception of collection of loan repayments and any other payments. The closure of Imperial Bank comes just 1 month after long-serving CEO Abdul Malek Jan Mohammed passed away. Until his death, Jan Mohammed had served as CEO for 23 years. The closure also comes just 2 weeks successful issuance of a 2 billion shilling 5-year bond, which was marginally oversubscribed at 101%. The bond was set for listing at the Nairobi Securities Exchange on Tuesday, but that too has been put on the back burner after the Central Bank and the Capital Markets Authority suspended the listing and trading of the bond on the bourse. The latest decisions, which come just 2 months into the tenure of CBK Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge, could open a can of worms about how weak banks have survived for years breaching banking guidelines without regulatory action. But others say CBK has just become more vigilant and aggressive, which could lead to more banks being put under the spotlight and greater stability of the financial sector.
I think right now the governor that we have at the central bank is very keen and has a very keen eye when it comes to now ensuring that these banks adhere to the regulation.
According to the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, while under receivership, Imperial Bank will not carry out normal operations. Bank branches will, however, remain open to allow those servicing loan make payments. KDIC has appointed Peter Getere as receiver manager and is expected to develop a turnaround strategy to be presented to CBK in the shortest time possible. Adelaide Chnagole, KTN Business.